Tonight's episode moves from Arjuna's despair and Krishna's first counsel, chapters 1 through 6, through the royal science and divine glories, including the universal vision, chapters 7 through 12, and closes with the field and the knower, the three qualities, measures of action, and surrender, chapters 13 through 18. The night has a kindness of its own. A cricket tries one note and thinks better of it. Far off, a sentry shifts his weight, and the leather of his strap whispers. The horses lower their heads and draw in the cool air, and each breath sounds like a small wave returning to shore. Arjuna notices these things as if for the first time. The world is not against him. It is simply waiting. He rests the bow in his open hands and lets the fingers unclench, as if setting down a story that has been told for too long. Krishna does not hurry him. They share the quiet as two friends share a cup of water. Night settles over Kurukshetra, and the world becomes quiet. Torches blink like slow stars along the lines of chariots, and the wind carries the faint smell of dust and grass. Horses breathe softly, banners rise and fall in easy motions, as if the field itself were gently sleeping. In the glow of a single lamp, a chariot stands, and on it Arjuna rests with his bow laid across his knees. At the reins is Krishna, his friend and guide, whose presence is like a still lake at moonrise. Arjuna asks, in a voice touched with sadness, to be placed between the two armies. He wishes to see plainly those who have gathered. Arjuna guides the horses forward at a calm pace. In that hush, he sees faces he has known since childhood. The grandsire Bhishma, whose vow was iron and whose heart was soft. The teacher Drona, whose lessons formed the skill in Arjuna's hands. Uncles and cousins, companions and friends, men whose laughter once filled bright halls. The sight loosens something in him. His limbs tremble, his mouth grows dry. The great bow slips, and he lowers himself to the floor of the chariot. "I will not fight," he whispers. "How can victory taste sweet if it is flavored with the suffering of those I honor? What joy is there in a kingdom bought at the price of kin? Family order will fail, rights will break, and sorrow will spread." Krishna looks upon him with gentle steadiness. His voice is clear, like a stream moving over smooth stones. "This grief is not worthy of you, Arjuna. The wise do not mourn for the living or the dead. Bodies come and go, like garments worn and set aside, but the indwelling self is constant. Wet ones cannot cleave it, fire cannot burn it, water cannot wet it, wind cannot dry it. It is unborn, undying, ancient and unchanging. Understanding this, stand firm." Brahmans, Arjuna, that change belongs to the body and the mind. Childhood gives way to youth, to maturity, to age, and yet the one who knows remains the same knower through the turning of seasons. What is unreal does not endure. What is real cannot cease. Can now this, and your heart will find ground. I can be your duty, without clinging to reward. Your right is to action, never to its fruits. Let evenness of mind be your yoga. Arjuna listens and asks how a person of steady wisdom moves in the world. Krishna answers, that such a one is not driven by craving. When desires fall away like leaves in late autumn, the mind becomes clear. This person is not shaken by misfortune, nor heated by the fire of longing when pleasant things arise. Moving among the world's objects with the senses disciplined, he is calm, like the deep ocean into which many rivers flow without causing a rise. From steadiness comes peace. Beware the chain, Krishna continues softly. Dwelling on objects breeds attachment, gives rise to desire. Desire, when blocked, becomes anger, honor clouds judgment. From confusion comes loss of memory of the good, and from that loss, understanding is destroyed. But the one who governs the senses with discernment finds serenity. In that clarity, suffering thins, as darkness thins at dawn. Arjuna wonders if renouncing action is better than acting. Krishna says, no one can remain without acting. Even for a moment, nature works through all. The question is, how to act? When action is offered to the highest, without grasping, it purifies. The ancient cycle turns. Beings are nourished by rain. Rain arises from sacrifice, action offered. Such action is taught by sacred law. When this wheel is honored, harmony abides. Arjuna turns over the image of the ancient wheel. How beings are nourished by rain. How rain arises from offerings. How offerings are simply actions placed in a larger circle of meaning. And how such action is taught by sacred order. He translates it into his own day. To draw water so others may drink is part of the wheel. To share food so fewer go hungry is part of the wheel. To keep promises so trust has a place to live is part of the wheel. To learn and then teach fairly is part of the wheel even. To rest, so that tomorrow's work is clean, is part of the wheel. When people forget the circle and work only for themselves, the wheel grinds and throws sparks. When they remember, it turns quietly, and the world moves without shrieking. To take without giving is small even, the fulfilled act for the good of all. The great set examples. People follow the path they show. She adds, in warmth and care. Better one's own duty, though imperfect, than another's duty done well. Every path eases when it accords with one's nature as an offering. Let go of the thirst for results, then action frees. Arjuna asks what hides wisdom. To Krishna says, desire, born of restless passion, is a secret enemy. It veils knowledge like smoke veils flame. It colors the senses, the mind, the intellect, discipline the senses. Steady the mind with understanding, the highest, in your heart, and take refuge there. Arjuna's questions deepen. He asks about the origin of this teaching and who Krishna truly is. But Krishna reveals gently, many births have passed for you and me. I remember them all. You do not. When righteousness fades and unrighteousness rises, I manifest to protect the good, uphold what is right, and restore balance. O know the truth of my appearing are not bound by birth and death. They come to me. He describes the ways people approach the highest. Some seek worldly results, some seek understanding, some worship in many forms. All are received according to their approach. Action performed in knowledge without clinging, does not bind. That knowledge is a fire that consumes the fuel of past deeds. Arjuna asks how to recognize one whose wisdom has dissolved attachment. Krishna says, their doubts are cut. They rest in the self. They do not imagine. I am the doer. Nature acts upon nature in the field of life, while the witnessing self remains untouched. Gain and loss, honor and dishonor, heat and cold, pleasure and pain pass over them without marking their peace. Renunciation and action seem like two roads. Krishna explains they meet at the same place when understood. True. Renunciation is not abandoning work, but abandoning the thirst for reward. The body must act while life endures, he says, but the heart can be free. From here, Krishna leads Arjuna into the way of meditation. Choose a clean, quiet place, he says. Sit steady, neither too high nor too low. Keep the body upright, the gaze soft. Let the breath be easy and natural. Eat moderately, sleep moderately, work and rest in measure. Elt the wandering mind back when it strays, when the mind grows quiet, like a lamp sheltered from wind. You will know a joy not born of the senses. In that stillness, all sorrow is healed. Arjuna lets awareness touch the body, not as a drill but as a kindness. The crown of the head softens. The brow releases the small frown it learned long ago. The eyes rest back in their cool hollows. The jaw unhooks. The tongue settles like a boat finding a gentle shore. The neck lengthens a little. The shoulders are allowed to be wide. The chest opens and the breath moves of its own accord. The belly is easy. The hips are steady. The legs are heavy in a good way, like logs that have found their place in the hearth. The feet remember the ground even while he sits above it. Nothing is pushed away. Nothing is held too tightly. He feels as if the body finally trusts the mind to be quiet for a while. You will see the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Arjuna admits, without pretense, the mind is restless, Krishna, hard to restrain. It is like the wind. Krishna agrees. It is restless, and yet it can be guided by practice and non-attachment. Untrained, it acts as an enemy. Trained, it is a friend. The yogin sees the same self shining in a sage, and in one who is proud, in one of high station, and one of low, even in one who is harsh. The light is one, though the lamps are many. Arjuna wonders about the seeker who begins but does not finish. Krishna comforts him. No effort on this path is ever lost. Good actions do not vanish. One who falls short is born into favorable conditions, or is gently drawn back to the practice in a future life. Taking it up where it was left dartize by step, the seeker moves toward the goal. Of all devotees, the one who trusts me, whose inner self is turned to me, who remembers me with love, is most closely united and dearest to me. The night deepens, dot far, along the lines of soldiers. A conch gives one low note and falls silent. Arjuna's breathing evens. He feels the weight in his chest ease. But there is more to learn, and Krishna continues in a tone as calm as the sky. Everything rests on the one source, Krishna says. From it all beings arise, and to it all return. Many worship the unchanging, the formless. Others approach through love for the manifest. Wherever the mind is steady and sincere, the path ascends, the senses move among their objects. The self is neither the senses nor their objects. Knowing this, remain inwardly free. Aimihis, he speaks of devotion that is simple and deep. Offer a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or a cup of water with love, and I accept. The measure is not the richness of the gift, but the sincerity of the giver. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give, do it as an offering to the highest. Then action does not bind. Even great wrongdoers, who turn with single-minded devotion, cross beyond their faults, for love remakes the heart. No one who comes with trust is rejected. All paths, if sincerely walked, lead home. Late home. Earth, 5 sincerely walked. Then we shall begin. He describes the 3 qualities that weave the world: clarity, movement, and inertia. They color the mind and draw the senses outward. Under clarity, one loves understanding and goodness. Under movement, one chases achievement. Under inertia, one falls into heaviness and sleep. The wise learn to witness these qualities, rather than be ruled by them. By witnessing, they become free. Arjuna listens, as Krishna sets many examples to make the unseen felt. I am the taste of pure water, the light in moon and sun, the sacred sound that begins the scriptures, the resonance in space, the courage of the brave, the brilliance of fire, the life in all that lives. I am the seed of every being. Among mountains I am Himalaya, among rivers the Ganges, among seasons the flow of spring, among wielders of weapons you, Arjuna, when you stand in your true nature. In every noble power, the one reality shines. Arjuna's heart stirs. In a quiet voice he asks for a vision beyond words. Krishna grants him divine sight. What unfolds is vast, yet we speak of it gently for the sake of the night. Arjuna beholds a form without boundary, a universe gathered into a single presence. That suns rise there and set there. And set there unmyriad beings appear and pass as sparks in a great light. In that vision, Arjuna sees both the tender and the terrible, the maker and the unmaker. Yet even the awe is softened by the understanding that all things rest within the One. Overwhelmed, he bows in love and reverence. Krishna returns him to the ease of his familiar form, like moonlight returning after a brief flash of lightning. Krishna then teaches devotion in its sweetness. Not by fear is the highest one, but by love and steadiness. Fix your mind on me, be devoted, offer your actions, bow with your heart. If you cannot fix your mind constantly, practice if practice is too hard. Work for my sake, if even that is hard. Then renounce the fruits of work, and be content. The dearest to me are those who are gentle, truthful, patient, pure, free from hatred, and steady in trust. He returns to action, explaining a way that keeps the heart clean. Whatever you do, begin it with remembrance. Let your work be a lamp for others. Do not disturb those still attached to results. Guide them by quiet example. Dat is disturb his osties. Stand apart as the witness. That is biswo. When pleasant things arise, don't chase. When difficulty comes, don't shrink. But even from evenness comes peace. Arjuna asks about faith. Krishna answers, faith follows the coloring of the mind. Clarity fosters clear faith. Movement fosters restless faith toward power and gain. Inertia fosters confused faith. Food, sacrifice, discipline, and giving likewise take on these three colors. For sows what uplifts and purifies without pride. Give at the right time, in the right way, to the right person, without thought of return. Speak words that are true, kind, and beneficial. Let discipline be steady, but gentle. Let it be for the sake of the highest, not for showing one's strength. He teaches the syllable that begins many prayers, not as magic, but as a door that reminds the heart of the ground of being. He speaks of the breath moving in quiet balance, of the mind resting in the cave of the heart. He tells Arjuna that when remembrance is steady at life's end, one moves toward the light one has loved. Yet, he also says, the path is here, now, in each small act done in offering. There is no need to wait for some later hour. Krishna speaks of the inner ruler, seated in the heart of all beings, turning the wheel of life as rivers flow to the sea. He speaks of the tree of the world with its roots above and branches below, nourished by the qualities, reaching out through the senses to the objects they touch. Its leaves are the hymns, its fruits are the experiences of life. With the axe of non-attachment and discernment, cut this tree at its root and seek the place from which it grew, the home from which none return confused. He tells of the difference between the perishable and the imperishable bodies. Senses and minds change. The witnessing self does not. Beyond both is the Supreme. The source and end of all knowing this brings freedom. Then, with gentle care for Arjuna's heart, Krishna speaks of love's refuge once more. Whatever you do, do it as an offering to me. Art refuge in me alone. I will release you from the bonds of your acts. Be not afraid. It is not a call to abandon wisdom or duty, but to flood both with remembrance, so that every step is taken in trust. Arjuna's breath is smooth now, like the lake reflecting the moon. The weight in his chest has changed to warmth. He understands that the path is neither grim nor narrow. It is wide and kind, walking through the very life he already lives, speaking truth, offering work, caring for the world, training the mind, and returning again and again to the quiet center, Krishna brings the teaching to a close for this night with a steady hand. Be a yogin, Arjuna. Bring the mind home. Jive up the fever of result. Let every act shine with the light of offering. See the same self in all beings. When you are steady in this, sleep itself becomes a clear lake. The field grows still. A light dew settles on the grass. The horses lower their heads and rest. The lamp on the chariot burns with a small, unwavering flame. The bow across Arjuna's knees no longer feels heavy. It feels like a tool that will serve when dawn comes. He will stand and do what is his to do, and he will do it in freedom. Breath flows in and out. Thoughts drift and fade. The body grows light. The heart grows still. Nothing is missing in this hour. What must be done will be done when the sun returns. For now there is only peace, held in a teaching that does not age. The witness within is calm, but rest in that rest. Well, night is nearly over, yet the field of Kurukshetra lies in a soft, unbroken hush. The lamps gutter low, the stars thin, and a cool breeze walks the grass. Arjuna sits with Krishna. Their voices are quiet, as if to keep the world asleep a little longer. Arjuna speaks first. Friend, you said that all things rest in you, yet you are not bound by them. Tell me more, and let me know the thread that runs through everything. Krishna answers with a gentle steadiness. Know me as the ground on which all things grow. Earth, water, fire, air, and space. The senses and the mind that knows them all arise within my larger life. These are my lower nature, the field of change. Above them is my higher nature, the living awareness by which the world is known, the life of every life. By this I sustain the universe. He lets the silence deepen, then adds, most seek the immediate, health, protection, gain of few. Seek to know me as I am, yet those who do are dear to me. They come by many paths, some through study, some through work offered without grasping, some through devotion's sweetness. However they approach, I meet them there. Arjuna listens without haste. Krishna's voice continues like a slow river. I am the taste in clean water, and the light in sun and moon. I am the sacred syllable heard in prayer. I am the quiet courage of the brave and the fragrance of good earth after rain. I am the life in all that lives. Arjuna asks, how does the heart keep close to you in the midst of change? Krishna says, by remembering. Keep me in mind as you move through your day. When the senses pull outward, return to the center even at life's end. The mind follows the love it has practiced. Plant that love now, and it will guide you then. He speaks of the two paths that seers describe, the bright way of clarity and the dim way of return, but softens any fear. Do not become tangled in hidden roads, he says. Live turned toward me now. What is practiced in each moment becomes the way. The faintest line of silver appears on the horizon. Good Krishna's voice takes on a warmth that comforts. Maya is a knowledge both royal and close to the heart, he says. simple to live yet deep as the sea. All beings arise in me and abide in me, yet I am not confined by them. The world turns by my presence as a city moves by the light of dawn. I am the friend of all creatures. No act of love. The river reaches the sea by many channels. Arjuna takes comfort in this, is he will do his work with a steady hand, and when the work is done, he will offer the day the way a traveler offers a garland at a wayside shrine, without fuss, grateful to have walked a little farther. The examples multiply without strain. The sweetness that tells you water is clean, the cool white that makes the moon a companion on a long road, the warmth you feel from a fire before you see its light, the steadiness that lives in courage when no one is watching. Arjuna realizes that remembrance can ride on the smallest details. The mind does not need rare signs when a cup of water will do. He pictures his mother's courtyard at dawn, the way steam rose from rice and the air smelled new. Even that, he thinks, can be a way to remember what holds the world together. He counsels Arjuna to live devotion without hardness. If constancy is difficult, practice. If practice is difficult, do your work for my sake. If even that is difficult, let go of your claim on the results. Begin each act with remembrance. End each act by releasing it into my keeping. Thus the heart grows light. Arjuna nods slowly. Tell me how to recognize you in the world, so that seeing becomes remembrance. Krishna answers with gentle imagery that rests like dew. Among trees I am the people that shelters roads and shrines. Among sages I am Vyasa, teller of the epic among mountains. I stand as Meru, the axis of stillness. Of purifiers, I am the wind. Of letters, I am the single. A of months, I am Margashirsha. When the year feels new, among horses, I am Ukaihashravas, born of the churning sea. Among great elephants, I am Iravata, I am Marga. Of ponds I am the sea. Of fish, I am Makara. Of birds I am the king of birds. Of secrets, I am silence. Of measures, I am time. In every noble power, know me as the light. Arjuna feels the world open around him. Trees, mountains, the press of wind on skin, the steady sweep of time, all threads in one vast tapestry. Seeing thus, Krishna says, the heart bows in love without effort. A long stillness follows. When Arjuna speaks again, it is almost a whisper. I am ready to trust more deeply. Tell me how a life of devotion moves breath by breath. Find your sitting hive. Fix your mind on me, and let your heart rest there. If it wanders, guide it back without harshness. Offer your actions as service. Vibes gentle, truthful, patient, and free from contempt. Harm none, and let none be harmed by you. By content with little, steady in practice, and firm in trust. Those who live thus are dear to me. Devotion becomes simpler the longer they talk about it, until it feels like washing dust from the hands before eating, like setting a cup straight on a table, like looking into a face long enough to see who is there. Arjuna realizes that he does not need to force tenderness. He needs only to stop interrupting it. The heart knows how to bow without being told. He returns to the center again and again. Whether you meditate in quiet, or serve in the world, or study and teach, whatever form your path takes, let it be remembrance. 8 in remembrance.work, in remembrance.speak, in remembrance.speak, in remembrance.speak, in remembrance. That's work. In remembrance.speak, of work, in remembrance.
If doubt rises, he asks.
Out, doubt rises, Krishna says softly. Let understanding cut it as a morning breeze lifts fog out higher to the first things, the steadiness of the body, the ease of the breath, words that are true and kind, companionship with the good, the willingness to begin again. I am not far. I am the nearness in which beginning is always possible. Out's refuge, even if you have walked many crooked ways, turn now. No one who comes in trust is turned away. I carry the sincere across the stream. Thy eastern sky grows pale. Our bird calls once from the edge of the field, and falls silent. Cut Krishna's final words for this night are soft and sure. Let love be your way of. In that offering, the burden becomes light. Arjuna rests his hands upon the bow with ease, as one might set a book aside before sleep. The plain is quiet, the mind is quiet. What must be done will be done when the sun stands up, for now there is only the gentle presence that holds the world and every life within it. In that presence, rest, breathe, moves in simple rhythm. Thoughts pass like slow clouds. The body grows warm and calm. The heart becomes clear as still water. If dreams come, they will be kind. If no dreams come, there will be only peace. The witness remains, steady, patient, bright like a star that does not set. In that light, rest well. Night lingers over Kurukshetra, softer than before. Dew rests on the grass. The watchfires are low and steady. The lines of chariots have become silhouettes against a quiet sky. Arjuna sits near Krishna, and the air between them is unhurried, as if time itself were breathing slowly. Arjuna speaks in a gentle tone. The sorrow I felt has thinned, but the teaching is vast. Guide me further. Krishna, let me understand what truly acts within this body and what merely passes through. Krishna answers with a calm that settles the heart. Consider the body as a field, he says, and the senses, the mind, and the changing moods, as the crops that grow there. This field holds hunger and rest, warmth and cold, laughter and tears. It ages, changes, and returns to earth. The knower of the field is different. The witness who sees, the one who knows. These are my experiences, but is not itself the experiences. To recognize the difference between field and knower is the beginning of freedom. He lets the silence expand, then continues. What is true knowledge? It is a way of being, a gentle courage, a heart washed clean, steadiness in practice, generosity, self-restraint, reverence, straightforward speech. It is harmlessness and patience, forgiveness and serenity, humility without show.
It is the willingness to learn, the love of solitude when needed, the quiet joy in self-reflection. It is seeing the pain of birth and death and old age, and letting that seeing ripen into compassion. It is devotion that is not narrow, and a constancy that does not boast. What contradicts this is not knowledge, however much it glitters. Arjuna listens with eyes half closed. His breath is even. Krishna's voice remains low and clear.
Nature and spirit are partners here. Nature provides the shifting stage, the body, senses, tendencies, and their motions. Dusk spirit provides the light by which all is known. From their meeting arises experience. I am the inner presence that enters the field and sustains it, yet remains untouched. Knowing this, the heart grows quiet. He speaks of the three qualities that color the field: clarity, restlessness, and inertia. Eye city, clarity shines. The mind is bright and steady. One loves truth and goodness. When restlessness prevails, the mind runs outward in many directions. One seeks achievement and clings to results. When inertia weighs upon the mind, it grows heavy and confused. One avoids effort and sinks into sleep. These three weave the world. Learn to notice their play, and you will not be ruled by them. Clarity visits like good weather. On those days, Arjuna knows what matters and can do one thing at a time. Wantonness arrives like a market wind, bright with promises, full of bargains and urgency, and he finds himself reaching for what he does not need. Inertia steals in like heavy fog. Everything feels far away, and even the next simple motion seems too much. Krishna's counsel is to treat these visitors with courtesy, but not give them the house. Notice them, choose what cleans and steadies, and let the rest pass by your door. Arjuna asks softly, how does one live while these qualities remain? Krishna answers, by witnessing them as movements within the field, and choosing again and again what purifies. Art simply and with gratitude. Speak truth that is kind and useful. Give without asking return. Die practice without harshness. Keep company with the good. Die rest when it is time to rest. Work when it is time to work. Out let remembrance be the thread through all tasks. A breeze passes over the plain somewhere. A horse shifts and settles. Krishna continues, there are two dispositions, Arjuna, divine and demonic. The divine nature begins with fearlessness and a pure heart, steadiness in understanding and practice, generosity, self-control, sacrifice, study, and straightforwardness. It blossoms as non-violence, truthfulness, absence of anger, renunciation, peacefulness, compassion for creatures, gentleness, modesty, forgiveness, perseverance, and freedom from pride. The demonic nature prefers deception, arrogance, harshness, and ignorance. It scoffs at sacred order and denies any moral route to life. From it arise three open gates to ruin: desire, anger, and greed. Close these gates, Arjuna, and a clear path remains. Arjuna's brow is smooth. He is at ease. But Krishna's words are gentle, even when they warn. Let devotion be simple, he says. A leaf, a flower, a piece of fruit, a cup of water, offered with love, are enough. I accept the sincerity, not the size of the gift. Whatever you do, your eating, your work, your acts of giving, let them be an offering, then action does not bind. He returns to the city within. Think of the body as a small city with 9 gates. The indwelling one remains pure, while the gates open and close, while the citizens, thoughts and senses move about their business. Aingo, your work there, but do not mistake the city for yourself. He pictures the small city with 9 gates and smiles again. Some gates open outward, eyes, ears, mouth, and what passes through them needs a keeper who is firm and kind. Some gates open inward, attention, intention, and the keeper there needs even more patience. The citizens are busy, memory sweeping steps, imagination painting banners, appetite bargaining in the square, judgment posting notices on a wall, when the ruler is calm. The city hums without clamor. When a rumor runs wild, the ruler does not run with it. He walks to the square, asks a few plain questions, and the noise quiets by itself. When you are not tangled in outcomes, you remain free while moving. Arjuna asks about the end of life, and his voice is hushed, as if not to disturb the sleeping earth. Krishna answers softly, as the mind has been colored by remembrance, so it tends at the last. Some go by a bright path, toward light, knowledge, and return no more for a long stretch. Some go by a smoky path, toward change and return. Why yet do not worry over secret roads? Plant remembrance now. Live, turned toward the highest now. The way at the end reflects the way you walk each day. High speaks of the world tree whose roots are above and branches spread below, fed by the 3 qualities and reaching outward through the senses. Its leaves are hymns and teachings. Its fruit is the taste of experience. Its tangled roots bind the heart. With discernment and non-attachment, cut at the root and seek the place from which the tree has grown. That home is the resting place of all. Arjuna imagines the great tree whose roots are above and branches below. He sees how songs and scriptures are like leaves catching light, how the branches reach into the marketplaces of the senses and collect the flavors of experience, how the hanging roots touch the ground. He sees a place near the trunk where a careful hand could cut, not in anger, but with understanding, cutting not the tree of life itself, but the tangles that keep the heart from looking up to where the root drinks light. The image makes him peaceful, not stern. It is not a war against the world. It is a way to keep the path open. Arjuna asks how to make choices that keep the heart clean. Krishna answers with warm clarity. Begin each act with remembrance. If the mind will not hold steady, Then practice short returns. Come back to me often. If that feels hard, do your work for the sake of the good, and let go of claim on results. The dear to me are gentle, truthful, patient, inwardly pure, free of hatred, free of boast, content with little, steady in trust, harmed by no one and harming none. He names the three colors as they touch daily life. Food chosen with clarity is fresh, simple, nourishing, and leaves the mind light. That food chosen in restlessness is overly sharp or heavy with stimulation, and leaves the mind agitated. That food chosen in inertia is stale or careless, and leaves the mind dull. Diving under clarity is timely to one in need, in the right spirit, without seeking return. Diving under restlessness is done for show. Giving under inertia is given at the wrong time or place, without care. Einsi, Yoda, Foilen Aniola, Anteola, Anteola, Thin Tangola, Anteola, 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 Vintangola, Anteola, 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 Fonen Aniola, Anteola, 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 Fonen Aniola, Anteola, 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 Anteola. Given in clarity, such things do not shine with their own brightness. They leave brightness behind. Austerity too has its shades. Krishna adds, there is discipline of the body, respect, cleanliness, steadiness, harmlessness. There is discipline of speech, words that are true, gentle, beneficial, and spoken at the proper time. There is discipline of mind, calmness, kindness, restraint, and purity of intent. Practiced in clarity. Austerity purifies. Practiced in restlessness, it is for praise. Practiced in inertia, it harms. He tries the disciplines in imagination and finds them ordinary in the best way, wiping the cup clean before he drinks, saying only what helps when he must speak, letting a hard judgment soften before it leaves his mouth, sitting down each day whether the mind behaves or not, giving a coin or a meal where it will do quiet good, declining the applause of his own thoughts. None of this feels dramatic, and that is the point, O Ide. Steady things keep the room in order, so the heart can stay free. Arjuna asks, almost smiling, and happiness itself? Krishna answers, happiness in clarity may taste like medicine at first, and like nectar later. It arises from quieting the senses and discovering a steady joy within. Happiness in restlessness tastes like nectar at first and like bitterness later. It depends on excitement and fades into thirst. Happiness in inertia is born of sleep and neglect. It never truly satisfies. He thinks about happiness and nods, the kind that begins like medicine. Simple food, a plain walk, honest labor, does indeed sweeten later. It leaves a clear taste behind. The kind that begins like nectar, a glittering impulse, a boast, an extra victory claimed for show, turns thin and sour when the glow. Every person has a nature formed by these qualities. From that nature come tendencies toward knowledge, toward work, toward service, toward contemplation. But the work that accords with your nature, it is easier and cleaner than trying to live another's life. Better your own path, even if modest, than another's path carried with borrowed brilliance. When work is done as offering, without claim, it lifts the doer. He speaks of the threefold measure in action. There is knowledge that sees one unchanging reality in all beings. This is clarity. There is knowledge that sees life as fragmented and unrelated. This is restlessness. There is knowledge that clings to a single small point as if it were the whole. This is inertia. There is action done as duty, without attachment, and without love or hatred. This is clarity. There is action done for gain, from pride or fever. This is restlessness. There is action undertaken from confusion, without regard for consequence or cost. This is inertia. There is a doer who is free of attachment, steady, and unwavered by success or failure. That is clarity. There is a doer heated by desire and anxiety. That is restlessness. There is a doer dull and stubborn. That is inertia. Arjuna receives these distinctions without heaviness. They fall like soft rain, leaving the ground refreshed. Krishna goes on, the Supreme dwells in the heart of all beings, turning them as if on a wheel, yet remains untouched. The watchfires shrink to embers. Arjuna's eyes close and open again. Krishna's voice lowers further, a thread of sound in the wide stillness. When doubt rises like mist, cut it with understanding. When weariness comes, rest in remembrance. When restlessness pulls, soften the breath and return. You not trouble yourself with perfect words. Sincerity is enough. You understand more clearly the shape of the path. Yet tell me, friend, how to release the last tightness, the knot that fears to let go. Krishna answers with kindness, let this be your practice. Whatever you do, do it as an offering. Whatever you take in, receive it with gratitude. Whatever you release, let it go without resentment. Keep truth and gentleness at your tongue. Keep compassion in your hands. Keep remembrance in your heart. And when you forget, begin again. He pauses, then offers a closing that settles like a blanket. In the end, offer all ways and duties to me, and come to me alone. I will free you from the bonds of your acts. I do not be afraid. The night is nearly spent. A very faint band of silver shows on the rim of the world. Around them, soldiers sleep. The distant horses are quiet. Arjuna's shoulders ease, and his hands rest easily over the bow. The mind that once shook now sits like a mountain in moonlight, unmoved by passing clouds. But Krishna and Arjuna say little more. There is no need. The teaching has entered where words fall away. The field is calm. The heart is calm. The breath rises and falls like the sea in gentle weather. If dreams come, they will be clear and kind. If no dreams come, there will be only rest. Before sleep takes him fully, Arjuna forms a simple intention to act in the day as he has learned in the night, steady, honest, and free of grasping. The lamp in the chariot burns with a small unwavering flame. The banner over the chariot moves once and grows still. The world is a quiet room. Within that room, the witness watches, patient and serene. In that presence, rest well. The last of the night drains away. In the clean light before sunrise, Arjuna feels ready for dawn, without being eager for it. He is not holding the day by the throat, and the day is not holding him. Whatever comes can be met one breath at a time. The field, the river, the lines of tents, the sleeping men. Nothing has changed, and everything has changed. He knows what to do when he must act, and he knows how to rest when there is nothing to be done. He closes his eyes for a moment and lets the breath rise and fall like a slow tide. In that motion there is room for the whole world. When at last the first rim of sun shows beyond the plain, the field stirs as if waking from a gentle dream. Sap a plough, lift ropes are coiled. Cook knocks ash from a pot and adds a last handful of grain. Arjuna sits very still. He has not been changed into someone else. He has been returned to the best of what he is. He knows what he must do, and he knows how to do it without violence in the heart. The bow in his hands is only a tool now, and tools can be used cleanly. He looks at Krishna and finds the same quiet lake, the same steady kindness. For a while they do not speak. There is nothing missing. The day will take care of itself. For now, there is this clear breath, this soft light, this easy knowing that the witness within does not come and go. On that knowing he rests. Let the breath be easy again, in as if the body were lit softly from within. Nothing is urgent in this hour. Therefore, the light grows strong. Arjuna silently repeats what he wishes to keep. There is a witness that is not the weather of the mind. Work done as offering does not stain the hands. Evenness is a kind of courage. Practice is a friend that never tires of beginning again. Love is not a bargain, but a way of seeing. The same life looks out through many eyes. When he holds these truths one by one, they fit together like smooth stones in a palm. Nothing cuts, nothing demands too much. They simply weigh the hand toward steadiness. Morning prepares itself with small, merciful sounds. A rope slides over a post and makes a low note. Someone coughs and then remembers to be quiet. A pot lid is lifted and set down softly so as not to wake a sleeping friend. A boy sent to fetch water pauses to watch swallows stitch the air across the plain. A few lamps are pinched out and a few more are coaxed to life. The river keeps its own counsel. All this ordinary care gathers into a feeling Arjuna can name. The world is willing to meet him halfway if he walks gently. He decides that gentleness is also a strength, one that does not break in use. Now let the world be very simple. The chariot, the friend, the field. The slow dawn. A man who has learned enough for one night. If there is a prayer in him, it is without words. If there is a vow, it is without noise. He will meet the day as it comes, and let it go as it goes, the way a shore receives and releases waves. He does not stain what he touches, and he is not stained by it. And if he should forget, if the day grows loud, and the old fever of result returns, he will not scold himself long. He will remember the lamp and set it back where wind cannot find it. Will begin again. Burning again is a gate that never closes. He will speak plainly, act cleanly, and rest when rest is given. The witness within is bright and quiet and needs no defense. In that brightness he sets his heart as one sets a lamp where it will not be blown out. And while the world readies itself for sound and motion, he lets the last of the night carry him into a sleep so clear it feels like blessing.